What if Anakin raised Luke and Leia? Our story begins with Anakin staring Obi-Wan down on the high ground. Anakin's newfound confidence in his powers proved decisive on Mustafar. With a daring leap over Obi-Wan, he delivered a fatal stab to his former mentor's back. Victory was his, a testament to his might and a declaration to all Jedi that he should never have been restrained. As Anakin stood over Obi-Wan, his heart was a battleground of conflicting emotions. Triumph surged through him, a fierce joy at having surpassed the man who had been both brother and barrier. But this victory was not sweet. It came at a profound cost. The air around him seemed to thicken with the weight of his choices, each breath a reminder of the path he had chosen. As he looked down at Obi-Wan, the man who had taught him, fought beside him, and ultimately stood against him, a deep sorrow mingled with his triumph. Anakin realized that, in his pursuit to prove himself, he had lost more than he had gained. Anakin hurried back to the landing platform. There he found Padmé, already secured within Palpatine's ship. The sight of her, vulnerable and caught in the maelstrom of his decisions, brought a sharp pang of reality. Palpatine's greeting, laden with congratulations for bringing peace to the galaxy, felt hollow to Anakin. The emptiness of the victory and the cost of his actions weighed heavily on him. In that moment, Anakin's perception shifted. The rush of power that had fueled his ascent felt different now. It was a tool, not a master. As Palpatine spoke of peace, Anakin saw through the facade.
Anakin, my most faithful apprentice, your victory over Obi-Wan Kenobi is a triumph, not just for you, but for the entire galaxy. You have fulfilled your destiny, bringing forth the peace we have long sought.
No, not yet, my master.
With a swift motion, fueled by a mix of redemption and defiance, he ignited his lightsaber and struck. Palpatine, the architect of his downfall, fell, a final act of betrayal that was, paradoxically, an act of liberation. However, Palpatine's contingency plans were vast and deep. Even in death, he ensured Anakin would never comfortably inherit his dark empire. Order 66, which Anakin had narrowly avoided, was now redirected against him. The clones and the newly forming empire marked him as an enemy. Anakin, fueled by a mix of desperation and resolve, fought off the clones aboard the ship, taking control and fleeing Mustafar. His destination was clear: Naboo, a place of so many cherished memories and the only hope for Padmé's survival. Upon arriving, he sought immediate medical attention for Padmé, who was in critical condition. The urgency of their situation and the weight of his actions settled heavily on Anakin. He had defied the fate that seemed laid out for him, rejecting both the Jedi and the Sith path. Now, as he awaited the birth of his children, Anakin pondered the future. The galaxy believed him to be a traitor, the architect of his own downfall. Yet, in this moment of crisis, he found a new purpose: to protect his family and forge a path that neither the Jedi nor Sith could dictate. Luke and Leia. Their births were moments of pure joy, starkly contrasting the turmoil that enveloped their lives. Anakin, standing by Padmé's side, felt a profound love and a fierce determination to protect his newfound family. Yet, the shadow of the Empire loomed large, turning their brief respite into a fleeting memory. With the galaxy's eyes searching for them, they knew their time on Naboo was borrowed. Forced into the life of fugitives, Anakin and Padmé embraced a nomadic existence. Each planet offered temporary shelter, but never a home, as the specter of the Empire's reach always followed closely behind. Anakin, once a symbol of the Jedi's potential and now a pariah of the galaxy, struggled with his identity and purpose. Padmé, ever the beacon of strength, worked tirelessly to keep the semblance of normalcy for their children, teaching them of love, compassion, and the importance of fighting for what's right. Meanwhile, the Empire, under the steely command of Emperor Tarkin, entered a new era of expansion and consolidation. Tarkin, leveraging his military acumen and ruthless tactics, tightened the Empire's grip on the galaxy. The void left by Palpatine's unexpected demise was quickly filled by Tarkin's ambition, reshaping the Empire's structure to ensure its survival and dominance. Under his rule, the Empire flourished, casting a longer shadow over the galaxy and intensifying the hunt for Anakin and his family, now symbols of resistance against a regime that sought to extinguish any flicker of opposition. As years passed and Anakin, liberated from the strictures of the Jedi Order yet burdened by his past, took it upon himself to guide Luke and Leia in the ways of the Force. His teachings were unorthodox, shaped by his experiences, beliefs, and the vision of what he felt the Jedi should have been. Under his tutelage, the twins grew to wield the Force with a prowess that rivaled even his own, embodying a new blend of wisdom and power. As the years unfolded, the Empire, under the cold command of Emperor Tarkin, expanded its reach, solidifying its grip on the galaxy. Tarkin's rule was marked by an iron-fisted enforcement of order, a stark contrast to the chaos Anakin had once sought to end. Yet, this new order came at the cost of freedom and justice, casting a long shadow over the galaxy. Within this era of oppressive rule, the desire to resist grew within Luke and Leia. Their strength in the Force and the knowledge imparted by their father ignited a passion to confront the Empire. However, Anakin, wearied by a lifetime of conflict, hesitated. The scars of countless battles, both physical and within his soul, had taken their toll. The prospect of sending his children into the maw of the very beast he had once helped to empower was a burden too heavy to bear. His war was not theirs to fight, or so he wished to believe. Luke began to have visions. These premonitions echoed the ones Anakin had years before, stirring a deep unrest within him. Luke's visions became more intense and frequent, haunting him with vivid images of his family's destruction at the hands of the Empire. The stark contrast between Luke's growing urge to confront their oppressors and Anakin's desire to evade further conflict sowed seeds of discord between father and son. Anakin, weary from years of battle, sought solace in obscurity, believing that the best way to protect his family was to remain hidden from the ever-expanding reach of the Empire. However, Luke, emboldened by his formidable connection to the Force and driven by his harrowing visions, felt a pressing duty to act. He argued that their prolonged evasion only delayed an inevitable confrontation, one that might end differently if they took the initiative. This ideological rift strained their relationship, with Leia often caught in the middle, understanding both her brother's aspirations and her father's apprehensions. She saw the wisdom in Anakin's caution, but also felt the weight of Luke's visions, fearing what inaction might cost them. In the quiet of the night, Luke slipped away from the makeshift refuge that had become his family's latest home, driven by the compelling whispers that had haunted him for weeks. The voice, seductive and powerful, promised him the strength to change their fate, to end their life on the run, and to defeat the Empire that hunted them relentlessly. His departure left a void within the family. Anakin, upon discovering Luke's absence, felt a surge of fear and anger. Memories of his own temptations and the dark choices they led to weighed heavily on him. Padmé, ever the anchor, tried to maintain a sense of calm, but the worry in her eyes spoke volumes. Leia, Luke's twin, felt an inexplicable loss, a connection severed, as if a part of her too had vanished into the night. Luke's journey was a solitary one, guided by the mysterious voice that seemed familiar yet foreign. It led him across the galaxy, away from the hidden paths and safe havens that had sheltered his family, into the darker corners where the Empire's reach was all-encompassing, but its gaze often overlooked.